He's Roberto Diaz.
He's Carlos Sosas from Anima Mundi, and you are watching Live Prog.
Hey there, welcome to Live Prog. I hope you're all doing fine today. At the moment I am very well because I am in the mood for some new music. Now, as you know, I've been bringing these video reviews to you for a long time. In a couple of months I'm doing this for 4 years and I've been doing a lot of video reviews, really enjoying it. And apparently a lot of bands and labels are enjoying what I do as well, because they keep on sending me albums and other things to be reviewed. Of course I want to review everything. I mean, I am really nuts about music. I love that very much. I love to talk about it. I love to share it with you, because there are a lot of great albums that really need to be heard. And you know, you have the big names that do get a lot of exposure, but there are a lot of albums out there that don't get as much exposure as, for example, the new Flower Kings or the new Arian or the new Dream Theater. So I'm trying to do my part in sharing these albums with you guys. Now, of course, the amount of albums I get to review is sometimes quite overwhelming and a little too much. I mean, I'm just one guy doing it because I like it. I'm not getting paid to do this. It's not my job. And as a matter of fact, I have a job outside this. I have a family, so my time is a bit limited. So I have to, find a way to get all these albums out to you. But I do my very best to bring out the albums that are absolutely worth to be heard and for you worth to have in your collection. Now, the album I have for you in this review is an album released by Generation Prog Records. Now, that is a label I got in touch with a while back, and I really like what they're doing because they have some really great albums out there. And I noticed that despite their catalog is very small, they only have 4 bands in their roster, they still have a lot of variety. And I reviewed already 3 of these releases. I'll show them which ones, and you might remember them from Live Prog. We have, of course, Relocator, which was a very nice one. This was the oldest release on their roster. Then we have a bit of prog metal with some female grunts in it, which took me a while to get into, but I gotta be honest, I kind of like this album very much. It's a very good album, Effloresh Coma Ghosts. And I think most of you hopefully seen this review, but if you haven't checked it out, you want to see me really go nuts on an album that I absolutely love, you gotta watch this one. Circle of Illusion, Jeremiah's. I really went nuts on the review of this one because this is an excellent album. So 3 different kind of releases, but all quality releases. So which one do I have for you in this review? Well, I have this one for you. Alessandro Bertoni, Keystone.
Hi, this is Woodstick. You're watching Live Prog. Rock on. No, serious. Rock on.
Cover very much. Style-wise, it reminds me a little bit of this one, Relocator. And there's a link between these 2 albums. And to emphasize that link, I'm going to show you a couple of other albums. An album that I bought a couple of years ago. I haven't played it in a while, I'm honest about that, but I did enjoy it very much when I got it, and it's a bit, forgotten, but I remembered it when I was preparing for the Keystone review. Planet X Moon Babies. This is another link. Now, if you're still wondering about that link, I'll show you these 2. I think the link is clear now. Yes, Mr. Derek Sherinian. That is the link between all this. Because on this album, Derek Sherinian played all the keyboard parts as a guest musician. So that's how Derek Sherinian and Michael Shatter from Generation Prog Records know each other. Then we have this album, and this album is produced by Derek Sherinian. So it's no surprise that this album is being released on the Generation Prog label. Now, as I said, style-wise, it's in the line of the Relocator album. It's an instrumental album, and it is prog fusion. You know, it's very jazz influenced, so it's very up-tempo music. There's a nice pace in it. When I was listening to the album, the groove is absolutely fantastic on this album. That is one of the treats when you listen to this album. Now I'm gonna take out the booklet because of the reflection that I have in the camera. That's the disadvantage of, you know, just doing it on my own. No professional studio equipment here, no professional lighting, but a lot of love for the music and a lot of love for great music. And I really dig this cover. I mean, I am a big fan of keyboards, synthesizers, so a cover like that, you know, I'm sold. Even before I heard the music, I was interested in listening to this music. Now let's take out the inside, and here we have Mr. Bertoni himself, as you can see, with some nice keyboards, and as you can see also it is right here a Hammond organ. And that Hammond, wow, you get a lot of it on this album. It really soars through the album. I mentioned it. It's prog fusion, it's a bit jazz influenced, but at the same time there's a lot of rock elements in it as well. There's a lot of keyboards in it, and there I draw another comparison to Derek Sherinian. The solo albums of Derek Sherinian, and I showed you two of them that I reviewed in the past. And the one thing I noticed when I reviewed those albums was that despite they were solo albums of Derek Sherinian, a keyboard player, the keyboards did not dominate, did not rule. No, as a matter of fact, it was a very guitar-orientated album. The same, in a way, I found with this one, with Keystone, because it is Alessandro Bertoni's solo album. But again, despite, of course, the fact that the keys and the Hammonds and everything play a very important role in the album, they do not dominate. They do not stand out that much. It is a real good balance between Alessandro playing and the rest of the guys playing. And who are the rest of the guys, you wonder? We have some, well, we have one very familiar name. There were two of them I didn't know, but I looked up their resumes, and their resumes are really impressive. So, well, not a bad choice to be on this album. I'll start with the, to me, lesser known musicians on this album. Ric Fierabracci on the bass guitar, and Bret Garsed on the guitar. Now, I looked up their websites, I looked at what they've been doing, and I got the idea that although they do have some, well, some material of their own, they are mainly session musicians. But you know, is that a bad thing? I mean, look at Toto. Toto were session musicians, and look what they've accomplished. You know, look what kind of world hits they scored. So, you know, not a problem in that. And when you listen to that album and you listen to those guys play, you will be impressed, absolutely. So he made a very good choice in asking those guys to play on his album. Then we come to the drummer, which is a well-known name, but again, I think he's one of the most famous session musicians, session drummers in my eyes, because I don't know a real band that he's a part of. Maybe I'm missing something. That is possible, you know. So, you know, educate me if I'm wrong. But Virgil Donati. And again, we have the link with Planet X, because Virgil Donati is on this one as well. And of course, he has an amazing reputation of being a fantastic drummer. Well, you know it, you know, he's a fantastic drummer. So. Four incredible musicians playing on this album, making fantastic music. It is fast-paced, you know. This really, once the album kicks off with the first track, it continues and it goes all the way down to the end as a sort of a sprint. So you gotta pay attention to it. Of course, I gave this album, you know, the liveprog test. It didn't entirely pass, but that may have to do with the fact that I am not a really big fan of the fusion kind of music. The whole jazz thing is not exactly my kind of music, but apart from that, I did listen a lot to this album and I really enjoyed what I heard because the material is very good. The songs are well composed. As I mentioned, the groove is absolutely fantastic. Also the way that the musicians play, the songs are composed. And again, I'm going back to Ric Fierabracci, his bass play. You know, there was one song in it, Tertium Non Datur, with a nice Latin name. Emphasizing, by the way, the fact that, of course, Mr. Alessandro Bertoni hails from Italy. He was born and raised there, became a musician there, wanted to expand his horizon, moved to America, the land of opportunity, got in touch with Derek Sherinian. Well, and we have this as a result. But on that track, Tertium Non Datur, listen to the bass part there and listen what an amazing twists and turns it makes, and you know, everything else follows it. You know, the drums, the work between Ric Fierabracci and Virgil Donati, you know, how they work together. I mean, the rhythm section is very important. Wow, you know, absolutely stunning how they do that. Also, the guitar parts are really fantastic. So, you know, it is a quality album. I had not expect anything less from Generation Prog Records. I had not expect anything less than quality because, you know, they only have a few albums out because they want to focus on quality releases. Now, I think they're doing a good job. I really do hope they're going to get a new addition to the roster or a new release soon, because, you know, this is the last album I have of them to review, and I'd like to review a little bit more. So, Michael, get to work, man. All right. Just kidding, of course. It is a short album, and that's maybe, you know, despite the fact that I am not that really big of a Prog Fusion fan, I really thought, you know, it would have been nice to have the album a little bit longer. I mean, it's around 36 minutes, so, you know, some people would call it an EP, but it is marketed as a full-length, well, as a CD, not as an EP. Well, you know, I'd rather have a short album filled with quality music than a long album with filler tracks and you know. So, again, you know, it is a very good album. The first track, Mégas Aléxandros, I think it is about Alexander the Great. You know, that's the longest track. It's a bit of a suite, consists of 3 parts, which is a really fantastic opener. But, you know, from the moment the album starts, you're really on for the ride all the way to the end, and it's a really great ride. It's a fantastic album. I really enjoyed listening to it. So if Prog Fusion is music you like, then you would definitely need to check out this album, because as I said, you know, the compositions are good, the musicians are, well, sort of phenomenal. So in the end, you have a fantastic album. So definitely check out this one, Keystone by Alessandro Bertoni. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video review. I hope you enjoyed the album I had for you. Now, I have a lot more great albums waiting to be reviewed on liveprog, so trust me, there will be a lot more reviews. So, you know, subscribe to this channel or keep an eye on my website, liveprog.com. Follow me on Facebook or Twitter. That way you can be up to date on new reviews, but also on a lot of other things you will find on the liveprog channels. Now, you can leave comments down there. You can click on the links down there, you know, to get to know more about the album, about the artist, about the label, and of course about liveprog. Always to make it easy for you. Now, I really hope that you will see me at a new video review. Thanks for watching. Cheers!